Good morning, dear students. Today we will start with the new chapter, which is chapter 4. We will take in this chapter just the idea of mutation. What is mutation? Mutation actually is a sudden, accidental change in the DNA sequence of a gene. لما يصير عنا تغيير بالسيكونس لل DNA of gene we call it a mutation. هون mutation are changed ب genetic materials يعني جايين بال DNA code. What happens in a mutation? The DNA code يعني DNA we may have a base يعني ال TCG أو A يعني النيتروجينيوس بيز يا بكون عندي بيز or more يعني واحد من هدول ATCG. It may be missing or added or exchanged يعني عندي نيوكليوتايد كامل بنقصد فيه يعني ATC أو G مع النيوكليوتايد. Mutations. Let's take just general idea about a mutation. Actually, do we inherit a mutation? Look, if the mutation took place in the gametes, like in the egg or the sperm, then we can inherit it. While if mutation took place in body cells, in body autosomal cells, then it will not be inherited. And you know this. Okay, mutations, if it happen in autosomal cells, it will lead to tumors. يعني إذا صار عندي mutation بالسيلز العادية الأوتوزومال cell in my body like skin cell, kidney cell, all these autosomal cells, if mutation happens in it, it will lead to tumor, which is, this is a harmful effect. While mutation in gonosomal cells, mutation بالgonosomal cells اللي هن مثلا الegg the oocyte and the sperm, if mutation took place in these cells, it will be inherited, and also we have two effects. It may be good or it may be bad. It gives new alleles which could be favorable, يعني good, like giving new traits. And do you know that most the genetic diversity in our society it is related to mutations. يعني the mutation may have a favorable effect which is giving a new trait, or it could have a harmful effect which is unfavorable when it lead to a genetic disease. يعني the mutation بالchromosomal cell عندها two effect, يا favorable يا not favorable. If it leads to a new trait, then it is favorable. While if it leads to a genetic disease, then it is not favorable. What are the types of mutation? In our lesson, we will take just point mutation. What do you mean by point mutation? Point mutation is a mutation affecting only one codon. يعني نحن رح ندرس الميوتيشن بس اللي بتخص بوان كودون. ما رح نشوف ميوتيشن أثرت على كذا كودون، بس ميوتيشن بتأثر على one codon. like مثلا عندي GCA إذا تغير وصار GAA we call it a mutation. But this mutation, because it is affecting only this codon, we call it point mutation. Also, we will study three types of mutations: mutation by substitution, mutation by deletion, and mutation by insertion. Deletion and insertion, we call them frame shift mutations. Okay, we will start with the first type of a mutation, which is mutation by substitution. Substitution mutation. Look, if we have the normal DNA, هون normal DNA allele. هون قصده إنه عندي allele. You know that each gene has two allele. If the normal allele has this sequence of a nucleotide اللي هو C, GA, T, GC, ATC, then the amino acids will be alanine, threonine and stop. بس انتبهوا هون عطيني الدي ان اي دغري عطيني الامينو اسيد. اكيد هون في ماسنجر ار ان اي والماسنجر عطى الامينو اسيد، بس هون باختصار. اوكي انا اذا بعطيكم دي ان اي بتروحوا بنطلع ماسنجر ار ان اي بعدين بنطلع امينو اسيد. باختصار هون بس لنشرح الفكره اعطاني مين الامينو اسيدز. طيب the mutated allele، الاليل اللي فيها الميوتيشن look what happened. عندي CGA TGC TTC. look in the normal allele we have A, in the mutated allele we have T. then this mutation is by substitution. ليه substitution؟ substitute يعني نعوض، بس عندي البروبلم انه instead of A شو صارت T. this is substitution. طب look at the amino acid. اكيد الكودونز اللي نورمال ما صار فيه مشكله، بعدين طبيعيين الاني، بعدين they are the same الانين ثريونين. طيب بالنورمال قليل كان عندي ستوب، هلا بالميوتيتد قليل صار عندي لايسين. يعني when I have a mutation the amino acid would be changed. maybe it could be changed. طيب if I asked you identify or before if I asked you indicate the type of a mutation, you will say mutation by substitution. if I asked you identify the type of a mutation, then you would answer by mutation by substitution. since تعرفوا identify I have to indicate and I have to justify. Here the justification is by comparing the two DNA allele. You compare the two DNA alleles. You say mutation by substitution since the nucleotide sequence in both DNA alleles, the normal and the mutated, is identical. أو بتسموا من أي كودون لأي كودون. أنا you will see later the exercises بكون مرقمة هون لأن I number the codons. هلا هون because there are 3 codon you can say normal and DNA allele normal and mutant is identical from codon 1 to codon 3 except in the third codon. طلع وين المشكلة؟ What is the problem in the third codon؟ الكودون الثالث. which nucleotide in the third codon? the first nucleotide. You know that each nucleotide has each codon has 3 nucleotides. The problem is in the first nucleotide. So we say except in the third codon where the first nucleotide A in the normal allele is replaced, فيكو تقولوا replaced or substituted by T in the mutant allele. Or you can say it in another way. You say where T in the mutant allele replaces A in the normal allele. أي صيغة بتفرجوا إنه A صارت T. Okay. This is mutation by substitution. Sorry. Mutation by insertion. شو يعني insert? Insert to add. Mutation by insertion يعني to add a nucleotide. Look at the normal allele. We have CGA, the same sequence like before, TGC, ATC. Okay, look at the mutant DNA allele. عندنا CGA, TAG. Look that we insert, we add a new nucleotide A اللي نزاد بين it was added between the T and the G. Complete. شو صار؟ TAG. بعدين كيف راح يكفي إذا زادت هون ال TAG راح يكفي CATC. And the rest of the nucleotide will be completed. بس نحن أخذنا just 3 nucleotide. Look what happened. The amino acid would be changed. لكن alanine ضل alanine قبل الميوتيشن بعده نفسه، بعد الميوتيشن the amino acid changed. طيب if I asked you indicate the type of mutation, you say mutation by insertion. If I asked you identify the type of mutation, you say mutation by insertion since, and you compare like what you did in the mutation by substitution. You say mutation by insertion, since the nucleotide sequence in both allele, normal and mutant, is identical except for the insertion of nucleotide A. بتقولوا وين حطينا where did we insert a nucleotide A between the first and the second nucleotide of the second codon. يعني بدي أحدد مظبوط وين حطيت ال A بين النيوكليوتايد وين هون between the first nucleotide and the second nucleotide of which codon of the second codon. Okay, this is mutation by insertion. The third type is mutation by deletion. You know, delete يعني to delete a nitrogenous base, to delete a nucleotide. Look what happened. This normal allele CGA عنا هون I circle it. What happened? We delete the nucleotide G. So what happened? عنا CGA, this is before the mutation. عنا T. If I deleted G, then how will it complete? T C A صار second codon TCA, and the third ضل فيه بس TC. Look, notice that the amino acids will be changed also. Okay, if I asked you indicate the type of mutation, you say mutation by deletion. If I asked you identify the type of mutation, you say mutation by deletion, since the nucleotide sequence in both allele identical. In both allele, normal and mutant, is identical except for the deletion of what is deleted, the second nucleotide G of the second codon. يعني deleted the second nucleotide G of the second codon. Okay, so we took three types of mutations: mutation by substitution, mutation by deletion, mutation by insertion, and we identified the type of this mutation. Actually, enough for today. I will complete this lesson next time. Thank you for listening. Bye.